In lesson plan number 2, I decided to go with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets again. I was debating on going to the third book, but I feel like I had a good start going with the lesson plan with the read aloud, so I figured I would continue on with lesson 2. Lesson 2 is phonics and vocabulary words. I will break it down like I did last time in the video of how I performed the lesson, instead of trying to read the whole chapter with you. That might be a little bit longer, that we might be here for like 2-3 hours, because these chapters in the Harry Potter books are long, which is good for me in the classroom, because it would help me to like demonstrate this will go on for like a 2-week lesson, or how I would have determined and how long I would have this for. So I will break it down like I did last time. The learning target, I can determine the meaning of words and phrases in the chapter. Successful criteria, I will know that I am successful when I find the meaning behind the different words in the meaning within the sentence or paragraph. On the materials, book, vocabulary packet, chapter 9 review questions, colorful paper, pencils, markers, and I will explain what we need that for later. Basically the prior knowledge is I'm trying to, we did the first one, real was chapter 1 through 5. Now we're fast forwarding to it, pretend you're in my class, but we're fast forwarding into now chapter 9. So at this point is I'm going to have something else planned with this, and I will talk about that later. But it's trying to get people familiarized first off with the book, and to familiarize with words, sentences. How is the author trying to understand what she's writing about to us, get into our minds. Prior knowledge is to understand the story up to this point, the characters, the setup, and introducing new vocabulary words. And again, I picked chapter 9 because then I figured if I can use this book for my lesson plan number 3, I will continue this to be the completion of the book, and to wrap it up and to have a big celebration of finishing Harry Potter number 2. Questions to higher order thinking is, I wonder what is going to happen in chapter 9. What new vocabulary words I want to further look into. What might be some learning strategies that will help me to understand? The next one is scaffolding and support. I will open questions to invite students about new vocabulary words that they did not know, because some of these words in here that we may not understand while we're in middle school, and we may not understand right now, but there's some words that you just have to be familiarized with and to get more understanding. Again, I will provide visual aids on the board. For example, I will have one of the words on the board. For the phonics part, I will have it broken up in different parts so we can explain how the word is going to be pronounced. And if I could find something, it could be helpful, is to have the voice of the word so they can actually hear it and hear in the mic. Some people are visual learners, some people are hands-on learners, some people can learn different ways. So I want to have different options for the students so they can understand. And while I was making this lesson plan, I was trying to visual a class of students to do this. Like, it's hard to make a lesson plan, at least for me. It's trying to visualize, the students, your classroom, and what do you want to accomplish in this. So this is what my thought would be for this lesson plan. Academic language is in chapter 9. I would introduce 8 new vocabulary words, and they would determine the meaning of the different vocabulary words on chapter 9. What page number did you find this on? What does the word mean to you? And what is happening in the book at that time? Could you understand a little bit more? Because there's a lot of details that is involved in Harry Potter books. I don't know if you guys have read all the books. Like, I read the books probably when I was high school, middle school, and I've watched all the movies, and I understand a little bit more. And that's the background information that could have helped me to do this. But to have more details to understand what is happening in the book, so you don't get so lost. Before I send the students off and to complete a task, I will demonstrate how to do a better understanding of the task. Like I said, pronounce the words, how we can break up the words so they can do it, so they can understand it more. This time I would break up the class again into groups or partners. They would get a good understanding of what the word means, have a good discussion about it. I would walk around the classroom and make sure that everybody is on task and doing this. Also, I was trying to squeeze in phonics, vocabulary words, and spelling, because everybody wants to build a good vocabulary knowledge to get all the words in your system. So I just wanted them to build it up and to quiz each other just from chapter 9 right now. I could do at the lesson plan 3 is have like a big spelling thing, and for them to spell the words and to understand the words like that. So that's what we have in the partners, discussing it and spelling the words. Once they complete the Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets, I'll be having a separate spelling test, writing out the words that they understand the words, and so we can move forward on in the book. Let's see. The hook, I basically try to relate it to what we've read from chapter 1 through 5, and to relate it to Harry's on a new adventure, and what is going to happen. Of course, we know something's going to happen. It's going to be it's kind of like a book and a movie combined together, and trying to find at the end, I was like, did Harry do something wrong? What could be happening? What vocabularies and phrases that you are unsure about that you want to discuss for later? And pretty much to get them thinking about what's happening, because it's a long book, and I want them to fully understand what is happening at the time, what is happening from that moment on to the other moment on to the very end. So we're pretty much, if we're in chapter 9, we're pretty much halfway done with the book at this point. The purpose. The purpose of this lesson is to get to understand what they're reading, to know what the meanings in the book and the sentences are, like I said before, to demonstrate reading context, what ways I can clarify an unknown meaning and phrasing. Some students can visualize it. If it's possible, I can find scenes from a chapter and put that on the board, and try to visualize anything that they have questions with and concerns about, and stop in the middle of an area that I think that needs more clarification and follow-up questions, and try to test their knowledge in any way I can to get through them. Let's go on to lesson structure. Again, I would introduce the book to them. Instead of this time that we won't be reading as a whole group, we would be reading is partners and by yourself, and to try a different way of reading the book. What includes in what they have to do is a list of vocabulary words. What do you think the word means before you read? What are the word means after you come across the word? What page number did you find it on? How could you use each word in your own life? How can you show me how you can break up a word in parts to show understanding? And any additional questions. And like I said, this is going to be like a rotation kind of thing. One group could be with me, just reading the book and to show understanding and expression, while another group is going to be individual reading from their desk or an area in the classroom that they feel comfortable reading the book. And then partners is around the room getting a good reading voice, so they'll be screaming across the classroom and reading to each other and following along. And again, I want us to try something else new instead of having the same thing about read aloud. I want them to work on phonics, trying to figure out how to break up a word before anybody else could help them out. If they're struggling, one-on-one time to help out. Classmates can help out. And then any predictions that was going to be happening before we read. And that's pretty much what I have in that. The formal assessment after the students have read everything. I was thinking, brainstorming, to have a vocabulary brochure for chapter 9. Fold it up, be creative with your brochure. It's probably going to be a thick brochure with 8 vocabulary words. They could add pictures. They can add details. They can show us whatever details they want to show with the vocabulary brochure. And just want to understand, like, we're trying to get the words across. We're trying to get the vocabularies across. We're trying to understand how a word is pronounced, how you're going to break it off. Are they understanding? You can show me if people is artistic. They can draw a scene from the book. Something else that can show me that they understand what was happening, and to show in a way that, be a creative mind. Let's see your creative self. And basically at the end, I would be discussing that we would not be reading this as a whole group. You'd be reading this in partners, individually with me. They would have to finish, like I said in the beginning, they would have to finish vocabulary packets, chapter 9 questions review, and that's what the colorful paper and pencils and markers came in to look artistic. Something that can show that they understand what was happening in the book at this point. And at this point, I would wrap it up. And this could be like, a 2-week process, a 3-week process. It depends on how well it's going with the process and what is happening within the school day to get this done. I say in my mind, this should take 2-3 weeks to get this through, because in my mind, I would like to break it off into different parts. And if I was going to try to do this in a classroom, I would try to do 1 through 7, but that would be difficult. Maybe if you talk to one of the teachers to say, hey, you want to do book 1 through 3 and break it off and do something like that. Because Harry Potter is magical, and it's like, stuff that you just want to believe and have an open mind to. And then at the end, I said, I hope you all understand what is happening in this book at this point, and we'll continue reading The Chamber of Secrets next week. And that's what I'm going to include in my next lesson plan. It's lesson plan number 3. I just haven't decided what I'm going to use the book for, but I will wrap up the book and maybe just have a big celebration at the end. I'm sorry this video is a little bit longer, but I wanted to show details and reasons why I thought about this. And if you have any questions, let me know. And that's it.